Hey everyone, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today it's going to be Double Dragon 3 for the NES. Sort of the black sheep of the Double Dragon family on the system, but it's a game I still really enjoy. It does have quite a few faults, and not really so much from, say, like a aesthetic perspective. Like the graphics and the music in this game are great. Really top-notch for the NES, but the gameplay is very repetitive. You fight kind of just the same pattern of enemies over and over and over again with very little variation in, well, stage design and whatnot. It also has some really nasty platforming later on in the game, which, unfortunately, the first two Double Dragons also had on the NES, but it seems to be exemplified here and almost even worse than the platforming in the other two sections. So, this is actually called Double Dragon 3 The Sacred Stones. It's based on the arcade game, I believe it's called like the Double Dragon 3 The Rosetta Stone, or the something Rose Stone, I have no idea. It's been a very long time since I played the arcade version of this game. This one actually does take some liberties from the arcade game in the conversion. It is actually based on the arcade game, but again, it takes some liberties. Probably for the better, because the arcade version of Double Dragon 3 was not a very good game. But this game does use the soundtrack, it uses some of the characters, it uses, you know, some of the stage areas and whatnot. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and hit start. I would like to make a major disclaimer. I'm probably not going to beat this game, and I don't even know how far I'm going to get. I'm going into this Let's Play completely cold, and so we're just going to kind of wing it and see what happens, guys. I think I've only beaten Double Dragon 3 once in my entire life, and it was probably by sheer luck, because the final boss rush is very difficult. But the levels leading up to that, the final level in particular, is also very difficult. And again, I'm going into this completely cold. I haven't done any practicing, so we'll see what happens. However, I do have a new weapon, apparently. I bought a brand new in box, well, not really in box, but a brand new OEM factory new Nintendo Entertainment System controller, stock NES controller, nice and clicky buttons. So we'll see what happens. Maybe the magic of this brand new controller will help me out a little bit. So Double Dragon 3 does have a bit of a story element, and once you kill this first guy, you basically have to talk to this Brett dude. And it looks like he's pretty much had his ass kicked, and you know, he dies right in front of you just like that. And then a bunch of enemies just spawn out from the door. So let me kill these guys, and I'll sort of just kind of explain how the game works. What you're going to experience here is how you can deal with a lot of enemies in the game. Enemies are going to spawn through a door, and then you can sort of just do your whirlwind kick or your hurricane kick right as the door opens, and enemies will just fly right out. And that's actually how you can defeat the enemies on the second boss. So there's a lot of parts in the game where you can actually do that. Okay, so one of the cool things about Double Dragon 3 is it does have a pretty decent sized move list. Not huge by today's standards, but it has more, well, not really more technically than the first Double Dragon. It's probably about on par with Double Dragon 2. Maybe it's got a couple extra moves. So you get your basic punch by pressing A. I don't usually use punch in this game. If I need like a longer range attack, I just jump kick. Jump kicking seems to be a lot safer. Punching is, you know, you got to be very close to the enemies. The enemies might be able to punch you out of whatever you're trying to do. It's not really something I use, but it does look cool when you actually do like a quick combo on the guys. You actually punch them to the ground, unlike the other Double Dragons where you punch them up in the air. You've got your basic kick. I use it occasionally just because it's kind of cool and it makes this like funny like swishy sound when you kick them. It's a two-hit combo. You go bam bam, and the second kick will be higher and you'll launch them into the air. Unfortunately, you can't follow it up with juggle or anything like that. Pressing both A and B together will let you jump, and jumping in any direction. You can actually turn mid-air, which is kind of cool. Pressing B will allow you to jump kick. Pressing A will make you do this flip attack. And what's really cool about this flip attack is you grab the heads of the enemies and you throw them all the way across the screen. It's a very neat attack. Just like in Double Dragon 2, pressing A and B together in the air does the whirlwind kick or the hurricane kick. I'm not sure which one it's actually called, if it's even called either one of those. Could be a tornado kick for all I know. Alright, so now one of the interesting things they added to this game is you can double tap and you can run. And unfortunately, you don't really have any running attacks. Like, you can't just press A or B to do an attack, unfortunately. Which you could do in Double Dragon Advance for the Game Boy Advance. And that was a very, very good Double Dragon game, by the way. But you can jump kick, and you can still do your flippy attack. Jump kicking when you're running actually makes a swishy sound when you attack enemies with it. And the enemies actually go farther than they normally would when you jump kick them, I believe. It's kind of interesting. And the last thing you can do in this game, at least in one-player mode, is jump kick off the wall, just like so. Not the most useful move in the game, because you're not always, you know, grounded against a wall, but it is neat. It is something you can do. It's pretty cool. When you're in two-player mode, you can actually jump kick into your second player's arms, and he'll basically do the same thing. He'll fling you across the screen, which is really neat. So if you're playing cooperatively, that's something to keep in mind. It's also something to keep in mind because you don't want to accidentally jump kick into your friend and have him, say, throw you off a platform by accident. So, alright, so with all that explained and out of the way, let's go ahead and try to progress through this game, guys. Now this first level, you can sort of just run over to the right and just wait for enemies to spawn. And that's actually kind of how a lot of stages are in this game. First level, second level, geez, third level for all I know. Fourth level, you might have to stop. But in these first couple levels, you can literally just run to the right like this and wait for enemies to spawn out. And that's pretty much it. As you see, you do have weapons in this game. Looks like this is a broken bottle or something like that. You do get knives and whatnot. There's a knife that just hit me. Unfortunately, the knives are not very powerful. And the weapons themselves, not very powerful either. So yeah, I just kind of typically use my own normal moves. The whirlwind kick in this game is just very good. You can use the kick to sort of like stun the enemy and then do your special attack, which is very nice. So up here we've got, we're on the second floor basically, and you can fall off that and die. And Double Dragon 3, as far as I remember, I don't think you get continues in the game. So you have to be very, very careful in this game. After the second level, you get a teammate. Then after the third level, you get another teammate. And those kind of act as your extra lives, basically. And so that's something to keep in mind when you're playing this game as well. You have to be very, very careful in the first two levels. And don't die. Now, one other thing you can do in this game, which is kind of cool, and I'm going to go ahead and do that once the boss appears, is each character actually has a special weapon they can use. Unfortunately, the special weapon is limited. Why, I have no idea. But pressing select, you can go to that menu. By pressing A, you can select what weapon you want. Bare hands, which is basically your stock moveset, and then nunchucks. If you look here, it tells you your name. The P, I believe, is your health. So I have 38 hit points, basically. And the W stands for the amount of times I can use my weapon. So unfortunately, I can only use my nunchucks 5 times. However, they are very powerful. I don't remember if they're replenished after you beat a stage. So we'll check once we get to level 2 and figure out if we get that arsenal back. Hopefully we do, because the game's pretty damn tough. Unfortunately, it'll only dissipate if you actually make contact with the enemy. So that's at least good. At least in the case of Billy's weapon. I think we get a ninja in a couple of levels. And he's got his special weapon is shurikens. And I'm not sure if they run out if you miss on an enemy. I think they might actually run out if you miss. So yeah, we'll find out. So we're going to China. Yeehaw. This is where we get our first comrade. And again, just like the first level, I'm just going to run to the right. Wait for the enemies to kind of run my way. Kind of boring, right? But The action itself is good though, like, you know, and I always played this game as a kid, didn't really think about the repetitive nature until I got older. And really, in a lot of stages, you just run right, wait for the same enemies to respawn. Although we do have a different enemy on this level. He pretty much does the exact same thing as the other guys. So he's kind of just like, not really a palette swap, but it's a palette swap of moves. The sprite's different, but the moveset is pretty much identical to the other guys. Although occasionally these guys do have size. So that's the new weapon introduced on this level. And the size, it's okay. I mean, it's kind of like the beer bottle, but it seems like it has a slightly longer range. Nothing crazy. And unfortunately, none of the weapons in this game get very crazy. There's no baseball bats that stretch a good distance, no whips that go decent ways. So here's the Sai. Actually, it might even be the exact same length as the beer bottle. The broken beer bottle, mind you. Alright, so more enemies and then boss time. But this is one of those levels where you can just sit by the door. Of course, I kind of messed it up. Oh, he ducked. There we go. Alright, I need to be careful. A little low on health right now. Alright, got a free hit on the boss. That's the trick you can do. Alright, so what I'm going to do is see if I've got my nunchucks back. Let's see. I'm going to press select. Once we sort of go through this. So apparently this guy is pissed because you killed his brother without even knowing it was his brother. Okay, so we do get our nunchucks back, so let's go ahead and use those. Get some really strong hits off on this guy. You can use the classic beat-em-up tactic where you sort of go up on the plane slightly higher than the enemy, and they sort of just like walk right into your attack. Which thankfully the game allows you to do that because, I mean, the first two levels, it could be tough. You only get one life bar, and you can die pretty quickly in this game. So, you know, unless you're really, really careful, it's very easy to fail and basically have to start the game over from scratch. I'm pretty sure you don't get continues in this game. I guess we're going to find out when I get a game over. So again, just like the other levels, run right. Although now I have a partner. So I could use Chin if I wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with Billy for now. So as you guys can see, this game gets pretty repetitive. Fortunately, these sections, they don't go on forever. Like, that's it right there. We're going in already. So that was like, what, 6 or 8 enemies? And I don't like this part. But it's okay. We got past it. Now these guys, you can't actually throw them with the head throw. And I haven't even demonstrated that move yet. So once normal enemies come out, I'll demonstrate that for you guys. I don't really use it, just because the whirlwind kick is so much more useful. It's powerful. Alright, so here's a dude. Woo! Yeah, you literally throw him, okay, it's halfway across the screen. Not all the way across the screen, but you still throw him a good ways. You know, especially considering these guys don't have hair. Switch over to Chin real quick. Let's try him. You have to press left and right to scroll through your characters, and then press A to select your icon, or select the form of weapon you want to use, and then you have to press select again. It's a little confusing. So Chin's attacks are a lot more, I guess, close range, but they're very useful nonetheless. They're quite powerful as well, as far as I recall. Apparently his, I didn't even touch that guy, and wow. So apparently his hitbox is pretty large, so maybe it's more useful than I thought. Oh yeah, he's got a belly flop. He's got a jump kick, but he's also got a belly flop, which is interesting. And that's what you do when you press A when you're in the air. I remember playing this game with one of my best friends when I was a kid. He was the one that actually owned this game, and he would always use the belly flop move. I don't know if it's really that useful, because again, you can get slashed out of it by these ninja guys. And they can duck it, apparently. Which that doesn't really make any sense. Like, we just ducked your belly flop. You're coming right down on top of us. Yet, we somehow miraculously ducked it. Yeah. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but hey. It is a, Nintendo game. I shouldn't really be thinking all that deep about it. Alright, I'm gonna go back to Billy, because I feel like I'm doing better with his hurricane kick. Yeah, much better. I messed that up. When you have two enemies on both sides of you, you can, and if you're sort of dead center, they'll both run at you. And you can use your whirlwind kick and just hit both of them at the same time, right as they jump kick you. It's pretty neat how you can do that. So again, just like every other boss fight, I'm going to rely on my weapons to start off. Do some sort of free damage. Alright, let's switch over to Chin and just stick with him. But we'll use his Iron Claw first, which is his weapon. If we can use it. Jeez, there we go. Oh, got him. Cool. I am disgraced. I have tasted defeat for the first time. You've earned the second stone and also my respect. May I join you? It's a little bit of a spoiler alert. This old lady, or is it an old dude? I don't know which it is. It's pretty much a traitor, and she backstabs you in the final stage. Again, the game has a little bit of story to it. Not a whole lot of story, but it is something to know. We will probably get to the final level, based on how I've been playing so far. I haven't been playing great, mind you. You know, I got close to dying pretty much twice. But I have more of a cushion now, and then I have basically 3 lives, which is nice. So... So this level, I think you can also run right and just fall down. You're actually on a higher plane right now, or a higher level, and you have to jump down kind of like, you know, in a couple areas in the first Double Dragon. And I don't know if you die if you fall down there before you kill all the enemies. So, again, it's just been a while since I've done it, so I'm not going to take the risk. I'm just going to go ahead and take these guys out as is up here. You guys will see what I mean once we drop down in just a few moments. Alright, no ganging up on the fat guy. Come on. There we go. That was pretty cool. I like doing that. Using my air attack as they come in and try to jump kick me. There's some cool little things about this game like that. Likewise, you can also jump kick the enemies as they're right about to jump kick you. You know, halfway in the air. And you just knock them down. It's pretty cool. I don't know if you could actually do that in the other Double Dragons. I think... Double Dragons 1? I know part 1, I think if an enemy jumped at you and you tried jump kicking them, I think you kind of just went through them. I don't know if the game really registered that. It's like... Ooh, look at that run. He's like, oh yeah. He's going to the donut store. He's got a funny jog. Wow. Never even noticed that as a kid. Alright, so right here you can just fall down. Unfortunately, the game kind of knows that you're actually trying to go down, and you don't do that sort of Double Dragon 1 thing where you go like, oh, and it's like, it looks like you slip off the platform and you fall. This game doesn't do that. So, fortunately. In Double Dragon 1 you do that, and sometimes I think you could even take damage from it. So, alright, so second screen, this is where we fight even more enemies, just like every other level, and then we fight a boss. If I recall correctly, the boss actually takes quite a bit of damage to take down. And he's got a lunging attack, kind of like, doesn't one of the guys in Double Dragon 2 have a lunging attack, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger looking enemy? I don't remember. I don't actually, now that I think about it, I don't think he does. But in this game, he does. It's probably not the same enemy, but it's kind of like him. Now, speaking of Double Dragon 2, I actually haven't done a Let's Play on that game yet. Now that I've done Part 3, I'll probably try to do Double Dragon 2 as well. I did a straight long play of the first Double Dragon on NES. I could revisit that and do a straight Let's Play if you guys would like to see it. You know, a live Let's Play versus a long play with, you know, post-recorded audio. But now that I've done this game, I kind of felt like playing it today. And maybe I'll do Double Dragon 2 quite soon as well. I have streamed it a few times on my Twitch channel, but I haven't done a straight Let's Play of it for YouTube quite yet. What I'm going to do is switch over to Billy. And actually what I might do is just use Yagyu Renzo. Renzo? Yagyu? I have no idea how to pronounce his name. But I might use him for now. And just because I think he's got... I don't know. Never mind. Unfortunately, his air double button attack isn't as useful as the other guys. I mean, I guess it can be useful, but you gotta be very, very careful with it. Although his basic kick seems to be working wonders on this boss. Okay, so his shurikens, they do go away even if they don't make contact with the enemies. So that kind of sucks. But something to know about. Glad we figured it out. Well, this is a lot easier than I remember it being. I mean, it's different when all you have to do is press B once. Whereas with the other guys, if you want to do a similar attack, you gotta jump and then press both buttons together. Which, for anybody that's played a lot of NES Double Dragon, you know that can be kind of cumbersome. I mean, for the most part, you'll get it. It'll be fine, but there will be that one or two times where you just, I don't know, the game doesn't recognize the inputs properly. Okay, so final level. Let me switch over to my other guys. And, I don't know who to use. I'm gonna... Okay, I guess I'm gonna use Billy. Oh, I hate the platforming in this game. Absolutely hate it. Look how close, like, the timing has to be. Or how sharp the timing has to be. It's just really, really bad. And I don't really understand why they left it in the game or designed the game to have platforming like this. It never worked in any of the other Double Dragons. I don't know why they were like, you know what? Let's bring back that really crappy platforming for the other two games. People will love it. Especially on the final stage, you know, when you get no continues. So... the next screen actually has you riding up a moving platform, and you have to jump off of it. And again, it's just, we're not playing a platformer, we're playing a beat-em-up. And so the platforming just feels massively out of place on this game. And it always has for the NES Double Dragons. I think Double Dragon 2 was actually the worst offender. Because Double Dragon 2 had a bunch of stages towards the end of the game that pretty much relied on platforming. And had pretty much instant death scenarios associated with them. I wouldn't mind the platforming if there weren't instant death scenarios, but the problem with these Double Dragon games is it's always been instant death. So, and it's always been a little, not a little, but really cumbersome because you have to press both buttons to jump. So, I guess it's not a huge problem for me nowadays because I've been playing these games for so long, but I can really picture it really annoying new players. Wow, that sucked. Alright, Billy, let's switch up. Instant death. Here's our floating platform. It's terrible. I hate to be bashing the game, but oh man, is it bad. The platforming is just, And I wish I would have known that I could have gotten cornered there by the enemies. And then I would have switched off from Billy, because Billy's easily my most useful character in the game. I mean, his Hurricane Kick is just amazing. Probably the best move in the game. Although Ranzo's kick seems to be working pretty well, using sort of the cheesing, you know, letting the enemies walk into your kick method. Looks like slicing them and then using your kick attack works well too. So we are actually very close to the end of the game though. We've got, I think, 2 more rooms and then that's it. Although the last room is really, really tough. You have to fight 3 mummies. And then apparently you resurrect some form of like ancient, like Egyptian demon or poltergeist or something, and she's got the ability to like raise fire out of the floors and suck you up into the air and kill you in 2 hits or something like that. It's pretty crazy. So I mean, fortunately the game isn't that long, so you know, at least there is that. You know, it can be challenging, but it's not that long. The only issue is that it does get a little repetitive, you know, when you're playing through the game multiple times. I didn't mind as a kid, but I was also a kid with pretty much all the time in the world. So as I play this game as an adult, I'm just kind of like, ugh. It's not the first Double Dragon I go to nowadays when I try to play Double Dragon. I'll easily play the first or second one over this game, but, you know, there's a part of me that still enjoys this game, you know, for what it is. Alright, so this should take us to our next room. It's gonna be another rush of enemies, and then we'll go on to the next stage, and then that's it. And I don't think this is gonna give me all my health back, unfortunately. In the first Double Dragon, whenever you'd go through a door, you'd get your whole life bar back. And yeah, that definitely doesn't happen in this one. Unfortunately. Fortunately, the enemies are about as dumb as a box of rocks, so they just keep running into my attack. So, I don't have a problem with that. When you give the player limited continues, or no continues, and you die really easily, I have no problem with the AI being utterly stupid. Oh, geez, more enemies. Come on. Go away. I swear, this fight just seems like it goes on forever. Is that it? Yes. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this guy for this final room. Just let him die off. Oh, wait. Billy's dead. Oh, jeez. I was like, I'm just gonna switch to Billy. Wait, no. Billy's not dead. Chin's dead. Chin's the one that died. He fell into the spikes. Oh, jeez. That was the sound effect from Double Dragon 2 on the NES. Yeah, so you gotta do this without... Oh, jeez. Horrible. Oh, come on. And... oh, jeez. Yeah, this is not good. Not good at all, guys. I figured if I was gonna get here, I'd at least had some, I'd have some health and I'd have some lives, but apparently not. And that's it. Game over. Rub it in your face. Oh, look at that. We got it continues. Okay. It did continue. Okay, well, let's try this again, guys. Might as well, right? I should try to play it at least a little careful. You know, don't use my punches, don't use my kicks. I need to just kill these guys really fast, get on to the next screen, call it a day. Because usually what happens when I try to kick like that, you know, every couple of tries I miss, and then the enemy punishes me for it. Ah, way too many enemies on this stage. So many enemies. Alright, so what I'm going to do is switch over to Ranzo again. Except we'll go ahead and use his shuriken. See if this works out. God, these things are so weak. Whoa, where'd you come from? Really, dude? Really do not like the level design of this final level at all. I mean, it's more interesting, technically, than pretty much any prior stage, but Just the instant death potential is horrible. Now the spikes on the bottom, you basically get cornered. And you can't really do anything about it. You know, now that I think about it, I'm surprised none of the China guys show up on this stage. You know, we got the ninjas from Japan, but we don't have the Chinese guys. Alright, last guy, last guy. So maybe at least this time I can show you the actual final boss. You saw the mummies, and there's 3 of them. The first 2 are pretty much the same. The third mummy, I think, is a different color, or a different shade of gray. And it's more powerful, I believe. And then you fight the final boss. Alright, so let me switch up. I'm going to try to switch up to Billy. Because Ranzo's kick does seem pretty useful, at least. And Billy's hurricane kick always works well for these guys. Alright. Let's see if we can do it this time. I have a feeling that might not work. Yeah. I don't think the Iron Claw is going to work, guys. Alright, yeah, that was a bad idea. Bad idea. Shit is so slow. Come on. Yeah, it seems like this guy's faster. Might have to resort to old school Double Dragon techniques. Like, jump kick them 55 times. You know, that's what people would do with the Abobos back in the day, is they would just jump kick them over and over. And the game would take forever to beat using that method, but it works. So maybe I should just do it for this guy. Because if he ducks your jumping attack, or your special jumping attack, especially right now, you know, it's pretty much instant death. Alright, so this is the final boss. And geez, man, that's just, you probably have to run when she does that. Run. Nope, running doesn't do anything. That's great. I'm not trying again, guys. You guys have seen that final stage enough. Oh, look at that. I don't even get any more continues. Wow. So apparently you get one continue. I don't know what the qualifications are for that. If it's kind of random, or if it's based on performance, or how many times you've continued up to that point. There's some games out there with weird continue systems like that. It's kind of unpredictable. So, there you have it, guys. Double Dragon 3 on the NES. I hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Play. As you can see, there are good reasons why people sort of look at it as the black sheep of the Double Dragon family on the NES. I think it's still fun. I think it's still probably worth checking out, especially if you just like to go the emulation route or flashcard route. You know, as far as collecting and buying it to play it, I think it's actually the most expensive Double Dragon on the system now. Not counting Battletoads and Double Dragon, but that's a Battletoads game. That's not a Double Dragon game. But yeah, I mean, it's got good combat, it's got good music, good graphics. It's just repetitive, and man, that final level sucks. Like, it really sucks. It's terrible. So yeah. Alright guys, well, I won't dribble on for hours. I'll go ahead and cut things off here. Again, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this Let's Play. Maybe I'll be back with Double Dragon 2 sometime soon. And until then, take it easy, guys.